What gut feeling did you ignore that you later deeply regretted? This happened about 2 years ago when I moved to Denver for a job promotion. At 26, it was my first time living completely alone, and while I was nervous, I was excited to have my own space. During my first week, I was struggling with a heavy package when my neighbor Jason offered to help. He seemed nice enough, well-dressed, early 30s, with this polite way of talking. I was grateful because there was no way I could manage alone. While helping, Jason mentioned he'd lived in the building for years and started telling me about the neighborhood. But something about him made me uncomfortable. His smile never reached his eyes. He stood too close. Nothing specific I could point to, just this vague uneasiness in my stomach. I immediately scolded myself. Emma, what's wrong with you? He's being helpful, and you're being paranoid. Over the next few weeks, I noticed Jason was almost always in the hallway when I got home. One day, he said, I noticed your package sitting outside your door all afternoon. I kept an eye on it for you. I thanked him while fighting a chill down my spine. How did he know how long it had been there? Was he watching my door? But again, I brushed it off. The coincidences became more frequent. He'd be checking mail exactly when I was leaving for work. He'd mentioned seeing my friend visit, a friend whose name I'd never told him. I started varying my schedule, but somehow, he still appeared. That's when I first admitted he might be timing his day around mine. One evening, my sink was leaking, and, of course, Jason was in the hallway. He offered to fix it, and after weeks of his help, I felt trapped by politeness. So I let him in. While fixing the sink, he studied my belongings intently, picking up photos, commenting on my books. It felt like he was cataloging my life. When he left, my instincts were screaming at me. Soon after, I'd come home, and things would be slightly moved, a coffee mug on a different shelf, throw pillows rearranged. Such tiny changes that I started doubting my memory. I began taking photos of my apartment before leaving, just to check. Things were indeed being moved, but so subtly that it seemed impossible anyone would notice. One night, I came home late. Jason was waiting at 11 p.m., immediately asking where I'd been and who I was with. I rushed inside and that night heard scratching at my door. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I set up my laptop hidden on my bookshelf, camera recording. When I checked the footage later, what I saw made me sick. Jason entered my apartment with a key, moved around comfortably, went through my mail, checked my fridge, and even smelled my clothes and lay on my bed. I called the police and building manager immediately. Jason had made a copy of the emergency spare key. According to police, he had been reported for similar behavior before, but charges were dropped when the woman moved away. I moved out that weekend. The scariest part? If I hadn't trusted that gut feeling enough to set up the camera, I might still be living there, thinking I was losing my mind. Here's what I learned. That uneasy feeling you get around certain people isn't paranoia. It's your brain processing dozens of tiny signals that something is wrong. Throughout human evolution, this instinct kept us alive. Don't ignore it because you're afraid of seeming rude. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button to help others find it. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts or experiences. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. And subscribe to join our community of resilient souls who've learned that sometimes being underestimated is your greatest superpower. Together, we're writing new endings to old stories, and I can't wait to share the next chapter with you.